So going through all the notes and knowing the relation, know that I'm going to be doing this all in C, but it applies to all the different notes. So starting at C, if we go up 1/2 step, that is a minor second. Then this is a major second, minor third, major third, fourth, tritone, fifth, minor sixth, major sixth, minor seventh, major seventh, and then back to the octave. Next we're going to go through the major scale. So the major scale goes, starting at C, then we go whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. This is also in the relationship of major second, major third, fourth, fifth, major sixth, major seventh, octave. This works for all the different notes on the keyboard, so if we was to make E the center, then it would be whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step. Okay? Next up is the minor scale. So the minor scale is basically the same as the major scale. However, you flatten the third, sixth, and seventh. So that's taking this note here and then flatten it down one note. So same as major scale so far, but then we go up, then we go back to the major scale again, and then go up again. So now if you know the minor scale and the major scale, then you basically have access to all the different modes. So the different modes are Ionian, Dorian, Pythagorean, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. So let's go through each of those scales now. So we're going to go through each of the scales in C, starting with Ionian. Ionian is the major scale, so there you go, you already know Ionian, that's how you do it. Dorian is taking the minor scale, but then raising the sixth. So that's the minor scale. But what if we take that sixth and then raise it? So normally we'd go up here, but now we're going to go back down to here. And that is the Dorian scale. You can remember the Dorian scale because the sequel to Finding Nemo is Finding Dory, Dorian. There you go, simple enough. The Pythagorean scale is a pretty cool scale, and it is the minor scale, and it goes like this. So take the minor scale, but now instead of going to the second here, we're going to flat the second as well. So now it goes. Oh god. There you go. And that is the Pythagorean scale. Pythagorean, pi 3.1415. Pi is the third scale. That's how it goes. Lydian is the major scale, so you take the major scale. Okay. And then you sharp the fourth. So take the standard scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, take this fourth, and then sharp it up to here instead. And that is Lydian. So Mixolydian is the fifth scale. I remember Mixolydian and Lydian because they are similar sounding and they're both together. So the fourth and the fifth are Mixolydian. Fourth and the fifth are Lydian and Mixolydian. Mixolydian is take the major scale, and we're not going to do like Lydian and sharp the fourth. Instead, we're going to flat the seventh. So this is going to be this note instead. So and that's Mixolydian. Aeolian is the minor scale, so you already should know it. but it goes. So it's flattening, taking the major scale really, and then flattening the 3rd, 6th, and 7th. And that is Aeolian, the 6th scale. Locrian, I like to remember it as Loki, right? Loki, a devil, 7 deadly sins. There's got to be a relation there somewhere. But the Locrian scale is taking the minor scale. And then we're also going to flat the 2nd, a bit like Pythagorean, and we're also going to flatten the 5th. So it goes a little bit like this. And it's not very commonly used, Locrian. I think it's used in Army of Me by Bjork, but not many others. It's a bit of a weird scale, but that is Locrian. And an interesting relationship between these notes. If you take that is the C major scale. If you want to know what the D Dorian scale is, then you can just take the same notes from C Ionian, play it on D, and then you know that these two are related. Same with E. You're going up 1 on the types of modes. If you go E, then you got E Pythagorean. But let's say you was on C and you wanted to know what C Mixolydian is. What kind of ways can you go about learning what this is? If you want to know what Mixolydian is, well, if you want to know C Mixolydian, if you already know your major scale, then you know that it's just the major scale, and then you flatten the 7th, then you know that scale, and that's why I kind of presented it the way that I did. If you know minor and you know major, then you can do it. So what if you wanted to know Pythagorean? Well, if you already know the minor scale, and then you flatten the 2nd, then you got Pythagorean. So if we was to take B, and we wanted to know what Lydian is in B, again, if we know the major scale, got the major scale, then all we need to do is say to ourselves, let's flatten the 7th. And there you go, we got Lydian. How could you know the difference between major and minor? Well, a good thing to do is to know that Ionian is always going to be major, and Aeolian is always going to be minor, because they're the major scale and the minor scale. Lydian and Mixolydian are major scales, their base type is major scales, and then all the other scales are minor scales. So it's quite an easy way to mix them. If you know it says Lydian, or if it has Lydian in it, say Lydian or Mixolydian, then it's major. Any of the others, outside of Ionian of course, is minor. Knowing what to flat and sharp, it can get a bit complicated, I guess, but we know that Ionian is just as is. If we then take Lydian, that does do something a bit interesting. It sharps the 4th, okay, but we'll go with it. Okay, so we got Lydian. Okay, then we start going in order with this. So Mixolydian flattens the 7th. Dorian has both everything that Mixolydian does, plus it flattens the 3rd. Aeolian does everything that Dorian does, which also does everything that Mixolydian does. It does everything that Dorian does, and it also flattens the 6th. Pythagorean takes everything that Aeolian does, and it also flattens the second. And Locrian takes everything that Pythagorean does, but it also flattens the fifth. So I hope some of this is maybe useful, just to know what the scales are and the different modes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.